It appears Horizon Point Station is still in the process of being reconstituted. The rift itself is also more unstable than ever. As a result, landing closer to the location of the Protectorate's large-scale rift anomaly modulator is not possible. In order to modify it with the rift data you processed in the archive, you will need to travel to its location on foot and seize it from Protectorate control. The Order and Auntie's Choice have sent their forces, as promised, but they will need to find their own landing zones. You may be without assistance as you navigate the station. The energy readings from the modulator can be traced to the Sovereign's flagship, Providence, hovering on the far side of the station, hypothesizing. Given Protectorate hierarchy and the recent announcement about the Sovereign's mental refreshment, this is likely the Consul's doing. He will need to be stopped.
Void, take that Consul. This is the 1000th time he has gone too far. Would that I could slay him once for each.
Intimidation is not required. Protectorate subjects are not programmed to question authority. Warning. The rift is growing dangerously unstable. Using the rift modulator on board the Providence is the only way to prevent certain destruction of the colony.
Well, she better not get in our way, or we may just have to seriously reconsider your decision to let her live, Commander.
Once the modulator is secured, it may be used to close the rift and save Arcadia and all those in its orbit. There is minimal room for error, Commander. Good luck.
Now's not really the time for a chat.
To be so close.
Just waiting on your
The
orders,
rift.
Commander.
It's
Whenever
magnificent.
you're ready.
When we've done what we came to do, it's finally time. I shall soon be reborn into perfection. Thank you for bringing me here.
It's both clear and ambivalent. Love does not compute. If all matter has mass, and thus exerts attraction, could I bear love's weight and measure, or be crushed beneath abstraction? Can I calculate truth or assumption? Where does love fit in a constant function?
Some creatures can smell danger. I think I might have absorbed some of that. Watch those troops carefully.
The Consul stands at the controls of the Sovereign's own flagship. How my blood boils.
Everything's focused, station. Fires, twisted landing pad.
Perfect skip drive manufacturing process. We must all fulfill our duty to the Protectorate, but none of us can do it alone. Remember, we're all in this together. The skip drive is our legacy. It is our mandate. It is who we are. And for the eyes, the ears,
Gives you shivers, don't it?
to determine who introduced the flaw into our perfect skip drive manufacturing process.
I reckon it's better he didn't live again to see this.
Hostile 9.
To the rescue! Happy to help! History! Out of sight and on the way! Brass raring to go! Medical
Your judgment! On the authority of the sovereign!
NRED. Exposure. Undermining. Functioning.
The rift really rung them up good, didn't it? Ain't nobody that deserves this. You know, if the... No, if the lives and deaths of millions weren't in the balance, this would make a fine agility course. But the rift modulator ought to make our path clearer.
Attention! This is your Ante calling. Per our agreement, Ante's choice support ships, including the fine print, the contingency plan, and the upper hand, are headed your way. Border forces are on a similar trajectory.
We've support in spades! The console must be my armor. But I find most blankets stacking. Let us find it.
We're clear.
Medics and pharmaceutical provisions incoming. And we're right behind them with a delivery of Auntie's Choice finest supplies. Soon you'll say, that is better than nature.
Forward! Forward! Destroy these abominations! Adjusting calculations. Hold fire on our allies.
I shall not stay your execution.
Mindful of where you stand. Chasms are everywhere.
Supplies and medical attention are available to you.
Be mindful of where you stand.
You never could have predicted that the...
Is there another sane person in this horrible place?
They sound distressed. We must rescue them.
Get away from me. See them? They were my teammates and they didn't listen neither. You'll end up just the same.
Agent Pascal, calm yourself. You are not in your right mind.
Don't you talk to me like you know me. Wait. Commander? Is that you? No, this must be some kind of trick. So it is you. That glow. I don't understand what happened, Commander. Something was wrong with Sandoval and Jepson. They glowed like they were aflame. They ran in, jumped at me, clawed at me. Oh, I had to kill them.
And they weren't too dissimilar from the troopers we encountered outside. This is concerning.
I don't understand what's happening. Everything was fine. Till the explosion. I was pinned. The fire closed in. I tried to move. I tried to find the rookie. Then the whole station shook and tore apart. And then... nothing.
That explains it. She was left alive, just long enough for the rift to take her. That's why the reconstitution worked on her. To some extent.
Wait. There was something else. Sandoval was yelling. DeVries wasn't responding to comms. What happened? Don't tell me the situation got too fluid for you, DeVries. That it?
Certainly not. I was focused on the objective, as every one of your crew should have been. Isn't that right, Commander?
Yeah. Something tells me that ain't quite true. Tried? You were treated without me? Abandoned me? Ain't debating semantics. But it seems we both came out on the losing side that day. I ain't wanting anyone to die on my account. But I still don't know why I'm here. Now. Something's wrong, and I can't.
The Protectorate are attempting to reconstitute the station to how it was moments before destruction. That includes you. It's failing. I'm sorry.
So I've come back from death to some warped version of life? All because of some twisted experiment? Is that about right? You can help me though. Right, Commander? You can, boy. This is it, ain't it? I'll never see the sun again. Never fly in our ship. That's good. Suppose I can take some comfort in that. You know, the sky ain't looking quite so terrifying now. Yeah. The last show I'll ever watch. Worse ways to go out, I think.
Pascal? Helen? I can stay with you for a moment, if you'd like. Might help.
Yeah. All right. I ain't turning down company if I'm at the end of the line. Goodbye then, Commander. Maybe we'll meet again in the void.
It's all right. This will be over soon. I swear it.
Law! These soldiers look even more hideous than our grafting experiments.
You with Auntie?
Hold clear.
We brought
You may
supplies.
approach,
We're here to
Commander.
help.
We've got supplies at the ready.
Initial any injuries any treatments, or may the initial observations conclude that the
Step up and take. Such a moment calls for. Remember.
Initial observations conclude that the subject does not possess major ailments.
Greeting! Step right up for the... I say usually, no catch. Well, it's all... Oh, tell me, do you feel as terrible as you look?
Initial observations conclude that the subject does not possess major ailments.
Ship doesn't look at all intimidating up close. Though, I got my questions about that rover they're sending down.
Faster ahead.
legacy. It is our mandate. It is who we are.
These foes have been destroyed once. We shall
Station.
destroy them again.
Who introduced the flaw into our perfect
Punitive action!
Become blended! Protect!
Exposure. Undermining.
If my aftermarket parts are
N-ray. Exposure. Undermining.
Shall stand against us!
It would appear our path is barred. That rift looks exceedingly unstable.
It'll take some doing to get past it. We ought to have a look around.
This is Scientist Bernard Rand, sent to Horizon Point Station by order of the Council. While monitoring the reconstitution, I picked up strange readings in the old skip lab. The core appears to be pulling plasma tightly around it, not unlike a planet and its moons. Fascinating, though it thwarts my attempts to gather more data. Fortuitously, in searching the remains of the lab, I found an equation that could manipulate the core just enough to clear the chamber. And my way to professional acclaim. Let this be a record of Protectorate ingenuity. Bernard Rand, the man who marched fearlessly into chaos and tamed it.
Somehow, I expect Rand's theories evaporate when put into practice. Much like Rand himself. Perhaps we can still utilize his calculations. Here we face down a more fearsome foe than ever before. Pure mathematics.
Solve the equation, it would be the Sovereign.
That looks to be the equation. Ain't no way that man came up with it himself.
Let us return to the Rift
Terminal so we might continue on our way.
Wow. And this fool had people hanging on his every word?
Another obstacle on our path overcome. Good work.
Observations in the laboratory. Our projections are off by orders of... orders of magnitude. Solver 6. So it's the results of the experiments were faulty. Capture the readings. We'll let the blame settle as it lies. Data retrieval complete. Let us hope the others return shortly.
Conflict has found you!
That rover's our ticket up to the ship. Let's find that rift modulator and finish this.
Hey now.
Trouble ahead.
Attention, please report to intake.
No welcoming committee?
Welcome aboard.
Should be simple unsealing. Sealing the hangar, at least.
Attention, crew deck. Intruder alert. Be vigilant.
Strange bedfellows indeed.
Anomalous outliers.
Re-engaging. Loading new. To battle!
My favorite morally gray contractor. Join me. We have important business to discuss. Come, quickly now.
Well, glad you finally jimmied that open. Things are getting appreciably worse out there. We're running out of time to seize the rift and force it into corporeal insolvency. The presiding bishop wished for me to relay a message to you. Why she couldn't send her own courier, I couldn't say, but I'll attempt to simplify. The rift modulator is on the science deck, 1 floor up. Deck access is restricted without proper credentials. Imagine that twice as long and in the form of a distance problem. That means, of course, you'll either need to pilfer an access, but I shouldn't know. Perhaps search the pockets of those you've killed, Or find an air duct to shimmy through, or a staircase to climb. Any more troops in here, they'd be tripping over one another. Don't you worry. These are the best paid closers in my fleet, and worth every bit. We'll hold here to ensure you aren't flanked by reinforcements as you delve deeper in. Don't fritter away your lives cheaply now. I've made a significant investment in you.
This unit is currently unavailable for meaningless interaction. Greetings, subject. Please note that any attempts to haggle will result in an automated reprimand. Please make a request. This ship is open. If you are not displayed. This unit is. Please make a request.
You know, I'd really rather not deal with any of that. Can we try the elevator?
What's going on down there, Deck 01? This intercom is to be used for now. How many times must I... If you misplaced your access card, Sovereign help you.
Threat assessment confirmed. Target real.
I shall reduce them to a slurry.
Measures at the ready, Commander.
I would vote in favor of fighting our way to the console, but if you do not, you should either locate an access card or keep away from our foes. If we choose to keep from arbitrating the local scientists, we may be able to gather information on where the console's modulator is stationed.
If you wish to see the modulator, security's become awfully strict. I've been trying to convince...
my fellow subject.
Yet I can see the sheer arrogance in this display. Reconstitution cannot work. It must not be allowed to work.
Return to your work, my fellow subject.
Go about your business, or do not.
Unit has been functioning for...
Size of the rift modulator. Seems we shan't be using it. Not without commandeering the whole world.
Ah, I was notified that you were here. What exactly was it that you... Yeah, well, we all have urgent needs. And mine is to keep my lab and hopefully the rest of this system from falling apart. I need the modulator for my owner now. I apologize. Our situation is far more... which is distressing. Yes, but as I said, I fear the... Few of us have the luxury of... Here. I hope you're able to sway him. Because if the deck up in the control room.
Attention, science deck. Authorized visitor aboard. Do not be alarmed.
Accessing report. Rift restoration analysis. Compiled by Chief Scientist Monserrate. Marked for delivery to Consul Thoreau. Esteemed Consul, after much analysis, my conclusion is that the modulator we have worked tirelessly to build will not function as intended when used for reconstituting matter from rifts. Every test of reconstitution has resulted in demonstrable failure. Proceeding as we are now with Horizon Point Station will surely lead to severe, unanticipated consequences. The modulator is only effective at closing rifts from unsafe distances. Using it to close exacerbated rifts will certainly lead to the destruction of any vessel carrying it. Unfortunately, the data that we originally had hoped for from the ancient rifts detected in the far reaches of space untouched by humanity has not yielded any of its secrets. And we are now out of time. All of our recent readings suggest that we're on the verge of losing control of this rift. I recommend diverting from our current plan before it is too late for Arcadia. I've included extensive notes and annotations appended to the modulator schematics to substantiate these conclusions. I know you will guide us wisely, my dear Consul.
can come to fruition regarding these schematics or the rift modulator.
Look at you, here before me. Surprised you could outrun these new legs of mine. So Consul Thoreau has everything directly under his control. I'd say that's remarkably competent for the Protectorate, but he is the one who's been pulling their strings all along. Did you find anything else of note? Wait, what? But rifts are caused by skip drive travel. Human-piloted skip drive travel. How is that possible? You're the one in the dark. I'm simply musing aloud. Much as I'm intrigued by the significance of all this, there's no time to dwell on it now. We need to confront the Consul. You might be savvy enough to talk him down, but his type requires a deft touch. You'll need to break him down brick by brick. If you're too adversarial, he'll simply shut down. Well, that's a trait you and I have in common. Just remember, pick the right weak spot to undermine. Never be obvious. Don't overplay your hand. And in case you aren't quite as sharp as you appear, be ready to fight.
Ain't opposed to speaking with the man, but I reckon you're both in for a nasty surprise if you think he'll play by corporatist rules.
The more we debate, the more time we squander. We must resupply and shore up whatever defenses we have quickly. And if you've something to say to any of us, Commander, I suggest you say it while you have the chance. No telling what awaits us beyond that door.
Standing around's got me jumpy.
Hope the Consul's ready for the grand finale. His, not ours. But just in case things get a little frenzied in there, I wanted you to know that I appreciate all you done for me. For everyone in our little crew, really. Once we make it out of here, I'm gonna buy you the biggest tankard of zero-G you've ever seen. Ain't heartburn I'm feeling right now, is it? No, must be sentiment. I appreciate you too. Ought to get back to our preparations, Commander. We got a colony to save. Everything's led to this moment. I intend to make it count.
Oh, don't go getting all weepy on me now. We'll see each other again later. That is, unless we don't.
So, here we finally stand, at the threshold of the final confrontation with the Consul. How I have waited for this moment. There's little doubt that he must be slain. And yet, I wish there were an alternative. He should... Before I would not have, but you have helped me attain a better understanding of justice. The Consul's execution shall spare Arcadia further ruin, but shall not help rebuild. There was a time when all of this, not just confronting the Consul, but standing here beside you, would have been impossible to consider. I'm glad that we met. Let us proceed. We shall bring the Consul to justice together.
Soon the Consul will answer for his many, many crimes. I have looked forward to this for a long, long time.
Never would I ever have believed Auntie Cleo herself would walk through that door. But I haven't time to linger in the novelty. Sentinels, if you would.
Do I appear like someone afraid of a few guns? Give it up, Emery. You've lost this war. Have some dignity. You're coming off desperate.
On the contrary, this desperate action is what will save all of Arcadia and rid it forever of trespassers like you. You are less a guest and more of an invasive species, Commander. One that I will cull in short order. Yes, I know well who you are. In any other situation, I might be compelled to take you apart and see how precisely it is you operate, but
Time, it would seem, isn't on your side. You are a relic of an impotent institution. Propelled for... Oh, I'm sure you believe yourself capable. Tell me, did you manage to stop us from bringing your peace talks to a swift end? As I recall, Greater Tranquility was reduced to little more than mangled ruins in a single moment.
You used the peace talks as a test run for this?
It was a modest success. I had hoped it'd hobble Auntie's choice in the Order once and for all, but it has proven to be a valuable lesson in patience. I was able to buy the time to enact the very plan before you. Though, judging from that vacant expression on your face, very well. Once the rift destroys Arcadia, we shall edit the information stored within it and use the modulator to reshape our colony into its perfect form. Horizon Point's destruction all those years ago was a tragedy, yes, but without it, we might never have opened our eyes to our true purpose and the possibility of Arcadia's rebirth. When the matriarch discovered the first skip drive, she set us on a course to elevate humanity. We're now writing our path, and I will do my part as the architect intended. Intrepid, aren't you? Well, what's relevant is what came after. Our matriarch dissected this skip drive technology, learned its secrets, and enabled us to produce them en masse, which eventually led to the manifestation of rifts. But it was not until well after Horizon Point's untimely end that we understood the opportunity gifted us. The opportunity to reconstruct the colony in its perfect form. It is as the Grand Architect designed. And believe you me, I've no intention of letting you thwart our securing of a better future. One free of doubt and greed.
Beware, Commander. The Consul is a master manipulator. Trying to speak with him may be more dangerous than simply slaying him on the spot.
You're entirely out of your jurisdiction. And were I within reach, I would strike down this apostate dog myself. If you wish for me to entertain your argument, you will silence him.
Consul Emery Thoreau, I accuse you of perfidy of the highest degree. Traitorism against the Sovereign and his Protectorate. I find you guilty on all counts. Prepare for absolution.
You overeager fools. This is the last mistake you'll ever make.
I shall not stick!
Commander.
I am trying to fight!
The Protectorate is... Dispatching my fire!
The King's Heel is on the way. Come and talk to him, Medkit coming your way!
Of the authority! Death to the
Seems all my considerable efforts here have been ill spent. Total rift destabilization is imminent. Our last resort is our only resort now. We need to fly the rift modulator in.
You don't have some dubious plan for this eventuality? I owe Niles 5 bits.
Oh, brighten up, everyone. Not all of us need go, but, someone present. What's the point of living if you can't allow yourself the occasional moment of theatrics? The Order and I will use this and the processed rift data to mass produce. If you're looking for a sap to fly that rickety rig, don't look at me. I intend to abscond back to my ship with those wonderful little schematics. I have plans for those plans. Now why'd you have to bring that up? That's, I suppose you've made one hell of a sales pitch. Okay. Fine. I'll do it.
Really? You got a new body, unlimited power, and all the bits in the galaxy at your disposal. You're just gonna give it all up for the greater good?
Oh, don't think you understand my motives simply because you skimmed the Auntie's Choice Standards and Practices manual. If there's one thing I hate, it's an employee getting excessively familiar. Now, there's a nice thought. If they make one of the consul, tell them I said to give him no chin. Now, I think I've had my fill of this conversation. Simply take the schematics and depart my presence in awe-struck, misty-eyed silence.
So, the end, moved by the ghosts of her past, Auntie Cleo boarded the ship and became the galaxy's unlikely savior. In her final moments, the ruthless Auntie's Choice CEO mused that maybe she was the best choice after all. Thanks to the commander's quick thinking in sparing it from the Vox station's fiery crash, Paradise Island's Fairfield remained a profitable company town for Auntie's Choice. For his outside-the-box thinking and innovative propaganda techniques, D.B. Milverstreet was promoted, while rival Officer Carr seethed at her lack of upward mobility, or even bronze-tier executive benefits. Vigilant Hogarth, now acclimated to Fairfield, leaned on the protectorate ideals of neighborliness, while overlooking all the authoritarian tactics, so he might help the Order to succeed with the equation. Auntie's Choice assumed control over the day-to-day workings of Matriarch's Mercy, the better to monitor their new colleagues in the Order. The monastery, however, returned to normal operation, tracking the clockwork of the grand plan. The monastery's abbot became a scapegoat for recent tragic events, having not detected Wiley's dastardly schemes. His superiors demoted him, mainly to show their corporatist allies that academics could keep their people in line too. Seer Wiley fled the Order and sought refuge in a backwater Arcadian town to contemplate his failings. As word of the ex-seer's arrival spread, people lined up for predictions. Forsaking the math that failed him, he offered obvious yet effective advice instead. After defending Fort Endurance against a fierce Mantisaur attack, Executive Warchek was awarded a commendation for profit-securing stalwartness, as well as promotion to regional manager. He eventually passed peacefully in his sleep at the scientifically astounding age of 6. Val continued to serve the commander of the Incognito faithfully for many more years than should be possible. giving automechs like her everywhere a reputation as stable and reliable. As a result, more Valerie units were put into service, while fewer human agents were deployed into the field. As he rose through the Earth Directorate ranks, Niles pressed for a field directive to deploy the new Val units only when the situation posed significant risk. The policy reduced agent casualties by a significant margin. Oddly enough, in-office deaths increased by a not insignificant margin. Despite Inez's efforts, the grafting program was restarted by a backstabbing anti-VP toward the end of the war. Inez appealed to anyone in Auntie's Choice who would listen to shut the cruel project down. Her pleas went unheeded. Utilizing what he learned alongside the commander, Tristan attempted to reform Protectorate society from within. But with no authority figure to lead its subjects, the Protectorate was a shell of its former self. After thoughtful cogitation and calculation, Marisol slowly began to reject violence as the sole method for eliminating random variables. Not coincidentally, her social calendar began filling up. After Azza disbanded the Glorious Dawn, its members quietly tried to resume lives forever disrupted by the Arcadian conflict. As the cult's murderous legacy faded, average colonist life expectancy increased by 0.23%. With the modulator schematics shared as joint intellectual property, Auntie's Choice and the Order's partnership remained steady, despite the need for constant compromise. For a time, the Arcadia colony thrived, but with the old Auntie dead, a new figurehead was needed to keep up appearances. Company execs fast-tracked auditions for a new Auntie. Some employees thought she looked suspiciously different, but were too overjoyed with the prospect of growing profits to care. Unable to acquire the chemicals needed for the process, Ruth Bassar nevertheless attempted to interface with the archive, and died immediately. Her successor banned any future interfacing attempts, and led the Order in a much more cautious direction, delaying their progress for at least a century. Adrift without firm leadership, Protectorate subjects struggled with post-war life. A small band of hardliners collaborated to preserve their society in the face of Arcadia's new leadership. When Sovereign Varric was discovered in mental refreshment, the Order and Auntie's Choice bickered over what to do with him. They ultimately decided to announce his death, while letting him live the rest of his addled days behind closed doors aboard the undisputed claim. Until one day, Amos stumbled upon the Sovereign's private quarters and freed him, rocking the colony with a brief scandal. Despite the recent tumultuous events in Arcadia, it was business as usual for Free Market Station. Sub Rosa continued to supply the colony in the wake of the commander's actions. The dangerous experimental research of Marisol's contact from Point Obviation lived on, with a Seer predicted 11.9% probability of yielding a universe-ending catastrophe. Meanwhile, an entrepreneurial work group of chemistricians unveiled a new flavor of Purple Berry Crunch. The release of the skip drive schematics to the public domain resulted in new and exciting opportunities for independent manufacturers. However, unchecked use of the drives would ultimately lead to an even greater proliferation of rifts, once again imperiling the galaxy. Fortunately, the Order stepped in. Leveraging their partnership with Auntie's Choice, the Order sold rift modulators to all skip drive manufacturers for a modest price, thus preventing another outbreak of rifts, while Auntie's Choice made a tidy profit. The rift compromise between the Order and Auntie's Choice led to prioritized assistance for the colonies that agreed to favorable trading terms. The so-called Auntie's Loyalty Program tripled the corporation's net worth. Meanwhile, the Order was able to sermonize their version of scientism alongside Auntie's marketing and PR onslaught. at least to colonies in Auntie's loyalty program. Many outside died because their rifts weren't closed in time. All of these events turned on the decisive actions of the Earth Directorate agent and their unique way of navigating Arcadia, its disparate factions, social complexities, ubiquitous product placement, and arsenal of absurdly satisfying weaponry. But through it all, and to this day, Earth has remained inexplicably dark.